Good evening. You might call this a $1 million insult.
A Bill Richardson insider pooled his money from the project to redo UNM's baseball field after being, quote, dragged through the mud. Here's News 13's Alex Tomlin.
Big Jessica, Johnny Cope had hoped to sit at the newly renovated field named after him and watch the Lobos. But the governor's pressure to keep his name off the stadium left him taking his bat, his ball, and a bag of money and going home.
We're as good as anybody in the country.
But Lobo head coach Ray Birmingham says you can't tell by looking at the current baseball stadium.
I want to provide something for University of New Mexico baseball team that people can say they're proud of and not feel sorry for the baseball team.
He was well on his way to doing that, having almost raised the $3.3 million needed to start the first phase of renovations that are set to begin next month.
Bleachers, dugout, astroturf in the infield, a new fence.
Currently, the Lobos play at Isotope Stadium. One of the biggest donors, Johnny Cope. He was the Bill Richardson insider and fundraiser who had a rail runner train named after him. Cope had committed $1 million to the renovation, half from him and half from his friends. The university decided to name the field after Johnny Cope. That did not sit well with Governor Martinez. Last year, she made it clear that UNM would face opposition from a state board that was considering pitching in $2 million to start the project. UNM bowed, agreeing not to name the park after Cope last September, and the state funding came through. Johnny Cope's wife told me this afternoon that they were insulted by the stripping of his name and by the media coverage of the ordeal. She says no name, no money.
This is a big deal to me because this is a sport that New Mexico kids play.
Birmingham says he does appreciate the more than $150,000 the Cope family has already donated to the project.
There were several people that just were hoped that they could, and they just couldn't.
The governor's office told me today that the governor is against naming anything after someone who is still alive. Jessica?
Okay, Alex, Coach Birmingham says he's now trying to help raise the $1 million needed for the first phase and the other $9 million it will take to eventually build new stands and locker rooms.